Hello, and welcome to Northampton Methodist Church's Worship at Home on this Remembrance Sunday. Glad that you could join us and glad to be sharing the word with you today. If you want to contact us, then all the details are on the website, where you'll also find other worship resources, including family, all-age material. Every year we sing, "O God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come. Be thou our God while life shall last, and our eternal home." A powerful and important hymn in our remembrance. But what is it really about? What does it mean? O God, our help in ages past. Throughout the ages, God has helped and rescued his people when they would let him. Today, we can think of God's help in remarkable ways. The remarkable evacuation of Dunkirk is but one example. And perhaps too that the Nazi regime, despite its apparent strength, was overcome, and we enjoy a freedom we would not have had without God's help and the sacrifice of those who gave their lives in the cause of justice, freedom, and peace. We could also reflect on the fall of the Iron Curtain and the remarkable pictures of people dancing on the Berlin Wall, or the amazing changes that swept South Africa in a powerful and peaceful way in the early 90s, when many expected a bloody and bitter battle. In that moment, even the non-believing journalist was heard to remark that it must have been in answer to prayers, and that what happened could not be accounted for in terms of rational analysis. No one can count the amount of prayer by millions that went into such things, releasing God's help to us. When we begin to look, we can see the evidence of God's help in the past. We also sing our hope for years to come. It has been said that religion and politics should not mix. And sometimes religion seems to be the cause of the problem. Witness the events in London and Manchester in recent years, allegedly done in the name of Islam. We could also look at the troubles that still lurk just under the surface in Northern Ireland, and many more. The words of the prophet Isaiah that we read a few moments ago remind us that God wants no part of such things. God wants no part of such things. God wants no part except to judge the nations and settle disputes, to teach us his ways. Actually, God's purposes for the world include the political along with everything else. Those who seek peace for the world share the same desire as our God, although I think his idea of peace is probably way better than anything we might imagine. And if we're honest, we know that we cannot make it without him. The prophet speaks of the nations coming together under God's rule, and that's what will happen. God is our hope for years to come. God is our hope for years to come and our eternal home. This prophecy is talking about the time when Christ will return to finally complete the establishing of his kingdom that he has gradually been building throughout history. Only then, with the return of the Prince of Peace, will we finally see a ceasing of war among the nations. This will be final, and those who have trusted in him will be raised to a new and perfect life, where God will have removed all crying, sadness, pain, and even death. And we will live in the love of God forever. Today, as much as ever, the world is searching for peace, sometimes in rather warlike ways. Maybe this reflects a desperation for peace. Through Isaiah, God gives a great vision for Christian and non-Christian alike to aspire to, that we would no longer train for war. The beating of swords and guns and missiles into plowshares. A refocusing of our efforts into feeding of all the nations, including those who in this modern age of civilization and technology still starve. To this national, global vision, Jesus adds his words of personal encouragement. As we read in John 16, he said, "I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world." Jesus tells us he is the source of true peace. In this life, it is not an absence of hardship or pain. That was not Jesus' experience or that of many of the other early Christians. In fact, to truly follow Jesus usually means to go against the flow, be different, and that inevitably causes opposition and sometimes persecution. Jesus clearly says, "In this world you will have trouble." But his peace, his presence with us, gives strength and sustaining in the midst of trouble, as well as hope for the future. For life is not just about this world. Life in this world is set in context by the greater life to come. As Paul the Apostle put it, "For me to live is Christ, to die is gain." The life beyond death is a continuity of our person. Then will be the time when the pain and suffering and war will be wiped away, where there will be no opposition to good. And we will be eternally with God, with whom and in whom there is true peace. We can trust in this because Jesus tells us he has overcome the world. His death and resurrection prove it. Therefore, if we put our trust fully in him, we will have peace. This is the message that we have to share, and it is a message of hope. We must share it in what we say and what we do. The world is hungry for peace, and only as we share the peace of Christ with them, and others receive and respond to him, does the peace of Christ increase peace for the world. May God truly be our hope for years to come and our eternal home.